Hello and welcome back to my gardening channel, where among other things we are exploring eco-friendly pesticide-free gardening practices and that promote health of the inhabitants of this planet. In today's video we are exploring the benefits of pesticides-free gardening and discussing how you can achieve it in your own garden. Pesticides have long been used to control pests and diseases in our gardens. However, they come with significant drawbacks. They can harm our water sources, our harvest, and they are not good for the human health. By avoiding using the pesticides, we can create sustainable, eco-friendly solution for our garden, our children, and our families. In a pesticides-free garden, understanding pest control becomes extremely important. It's not about eliminating all pests, but it's about creating a sustainable balance between beneficial insects and the pests, when they never reach that level which will harm your harvest, but they coexist together with the world and with beneficial insects. By adopting a number of preventative strategies, it's possible to create a garden where you don't need to use pesticides. So strategy number one is encouraging biodiversity. A diverse gardening system is naturally more stable and resilient to pests. By planting a variety of flowers, herbs, native plants, we attract beneficial insects, for example, ladybugs, lacewings, and bees, that also act as predators to pests. So they can keep the population of pests in balance, and then if you do not spray pesticides, you don't kill them and they are able to perform their function. Strategy number two is practicing good garden hygiene. By regularly remove diseased leaves, plant debris, fallen leaves, and weeds that can harbor pests and harmful insects, you ensure that in your environment there is no place to harbor them, these pests and diseases. So by keeping your garden clean and tidy, you reduce the chances of pest infestation and you limit the spread of disease and the need to use pesticides. And strategy number three is using physical barriers. For some specific pests, for example for caterpillars or snails, physical barriers are quite effective. So if you cover your plants with agricultural material, for example, or netting or row covers, you protect physically your plants from the pest infestation and they are not able to reach and multiply in your garden. 4 is companion planting. Certain plants naturally have pest repellent properties or attract beneficial insects. So for example, marigolds can deter aphids, while planting herbs like basil and mint can repel pests like mosquitoes and flies. So by strategically interplanting these pest deterring plants, we can create a natural defense system in your garden, as opposite to a farm where you have one row or many rows of one plant all over the garden, and then obviously if a pest comes and they feel that this is the place where they can prosper and multiply. But let's say you are a pest and you're flying and then you see there is just one plant or 5 plants and you can't even notice them because of the smell of different plants, then you wouldn't come to this garden to do that. So companion planting and interplanting is a very important strategy. 5 is hand picking and manual control. When you see that there are only a few bugs here and there, you can just manually remove them and without the need for a total pesticides application. So make sure that you go to your garden regularly and you check what's happening, you know what's happening, and when you see early that there is a problem, you remove it. It's much easier, for example, to remove 2 or 3 leaves while there is aphids just arriving into your garden than waiting a few days or a few weeks and see that the whole tree is also already full of aphids. And strategy number 6 is improving soil fertility. Similar as a human is more immunity and has better immune system if it's well fed and receives everything that he or she needs. Similarly for plants, also healthy soil leads to healthy plants, and these plants are better equipped to protect themselves against pests and diseases. So focus on building fertility of the soil, for example, by adding compost, by mulching, by practicing no-dig gardening, and many other agricultural methods which I all explain here in this gardening channel. And strategy number 7, if everything what I already said doesn't work and you do have strong pest infestation, is using biological pesticides. You do not have to buy all the standard chemical pesticides. There is now a number of biological pesticides which, for example, contain bacteria or fungi that you can regularly spray to your plants to protect them from the pests and to kill those pests. There are so many of them now that this is all subject of separate videos. I will talk about the major biological pesticides in my gardening channel soon, so don't forget to subscribe to learn about it. But for now, you can use the methods that I have described if you are not yet familiar with biological pesticides. And strategy number 8, which is probably the most important one of all, is that you always have to use what's called integrated pest management, which means you cannot just use only one strategy of all that I described, but the more you use, the better cumulative effects of all these strategies. So 1 + 1 is more than 2. Let me know in the comments if you use other methods of creating pesticide-free gardens. And in the meantime, I wish you good weather and happy gardening. I see you in my next video. Bye.